everyone, and welcome back to Rise with Sarah Sinclair. I am your host, Sarah. Today, I have a very special guest joining us from WA in Perth, Ervina. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thanks, Sarah, for having me. I'm so excited for today.
I've wanted you to come on for a long time, been following your journey and just really impressed by all of the things that you've been doing in your career since 2008, which we will get into a bit later on. But for those that do not know you, who is Ervina?
Who am I? Well, my name is Ervina. I was born and grew up in Indonesia until 1997. Then I came here to do my study. I came to Perth, and I did my degree in accounting and finance. And I moved back a bit in Indonesia, and where I started my career. Then I came back here. I am a wife to a Greek man, and I'm a mom to a 17 years old boy.
Ah,
I'm a bit chocoholic. I love anything chocolate. And as any other women on earth, probably most of the women, I love handbags and I love shoes.
I love it. I love it. What a great introduction. And yes, I think I've never met anyone so far in my lifetime that hasn't said they've loved chocolate. And how amazing that, you're doing such wonderful things in your career and have a family as well. So I really admire that. So may I ask, why did you end up coming to Australia from Indonesia?
Okay, I guess that's because of I would say that the education, that's the first reason. Education in Indonesia is not as good as in here. And I guess because of the distance from where I'm from, Jakarta to Perth, it only takes us 4 hours flying. It's very close. And then I and my brother came first. So it's just, common sense to come follow my brother as a little sister. And then my parents felt comfortable to send me here. That's how I started coming in Perth. Yeah. Originally came to Perth. Yeah.
Yeah. So Australia's been home now.
It is. Yeah. It's been home. Yeah. All my
Yeah.
family's here now. Yes.
Amazing. And Vana, what was your motivation behind getting into real estate?
I think the first, because my dad, since I was really young, I saw my dad, how he was really into real estate back in Indonesia and also in here. He always found a good project and, put money there and then make money from there. That's when I was like, oh, you know what? I think I really like real estate. And I love people. I love meeting new people. I love networking with people. So when I do that, I don't feel like I'm working. I feel like, I just enjoy doing this. I just meet new people. Then that's how I, love real estate. Yeah.
Yeah, I love it. And I think that's the common thing that I find, especially with business development managers, is they love meeting new people and talking to people every day. And I guess if we didn't like working with people, we wouldn't be in the industry.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, how long have you been a business development manager for?
So as a BDM, I have been working for in total 9 to 10 years, but in the same company for the last nearly 10 years with LG Hoka. Yeah.
Amazing. That's goes to show your loyalty to LJ Hooker, and you must have a phenomenal team and business to work under, because that's a very long time for the same business.
Yeah.
That's absolutely incredible. So I can only imagine then the size of your contribution and database, because you have been with the same business for so long, and then the rewards that come from that. So what has been some big highlights throughout your journey with being with the same business for so long? Because you would have seen so many changes.
Yeah. Well, look, I guess the highlight of it when I get my award, like in LG Hoka, in the last 3 years, I got the top BDM in LG Hoka network. That's really the highlight. And just recently, just 2 days ago, I just signed my 1050 management with the same company.
Wow.
I just, it's just like really rewarding for me to see that. Yeah.
Yeah. Congratulations. That's a
Thank
phenomenal milestone, and to be recognized as the top, BDM in your network and across the country too. It's amazing, because you have been a REB finalist as well.
Yes.
A very prestigious awards. So I saw your credentials, Ervina, and it's absolutely incredible, you know, the success that you have had. And what I would love to dive a bit deep for the listeners today, for the BDMs who perhaps are aspiring or they've been doing it for a while and they would love to win some awards. What do you think is the biggest contributions as we can have as an individual that can assist us to win some awards in the industry?
I guess the first that I can think of is persistent and consistent with what you're doing. I think that's the biggest key. I always say to my new colleagues in, you know, when they start their BDM, I said, you know, like, you know, sometimes business, they don't come straight away, but, you know, being consistent and persistent in what you're doing, it will always lead to business later on. And I guess the other thing, always keep your integrity and always being genuine with people. Those are the keys that when, you know, you're going to get more business in the future, referrals, you know. Always keep your promise. Whatever you promise to your client, always try your best to keep it, and then that will bring referrals in the future.
For sure. And I think that comes down to values as well. Would you agree then?
Yes, 100%. Yeah.
Yeah. So tell me more about what your consistency and persistence looks like as a BDM in your role that contributes to the results that you end up getting then.
I guess like in terms of prospecting, or, you know, for example, prospecting, you know, you do your tags, you do your callings, you know, being consistent and persistent. If they don't come to you straight away, then don't forget to, you know, follow up call in the next, you know, 3 months or 6 months, you know, sometimes 2 years. I keep doing that. So I keep always, you know, if I don't get the business, or from one communication to the next communication, I always set reminder for myself. So I could get like sometimes, I have clients that I have to follow up every 6 months, or every, you know, I mean, like not clients, but potential clients. They're not my clients yet, but 6 months, they are not, you know, I'm still happy with my current property manager. Okay, that's fine. Can I call you back in 6 months later? Then I call back in 6 months later. And then sometimes after 1 year, then, okay, you know what? We can explore to that option. That's when, you know, that's being consistent and persistent. And also with drop cards, as well as with, you know, social media, you can't just do one time and expect, you know, business right away. Sometimes you get it, but most of the time it will take a long time, a few times to get the business. Yeah.
I think that's a great reminder for anyone watching, is that we tend to only see certain things on the exterior when it comes to social media, but there's been so many steps along the way that's contributed to how we're doing today.
Yeah.
And I think that's a really great reminder that you just shared, is to, I suppose, it's not a quick win. It's slow, and it takes time to build those relationships with people, because it's a big thing when someone is entrusting you with their investment property, right?
Yeah. Yes, correct. Yeah, and I guess the same thing also with the referral partner, because most of my business I get referral. You don't just meet with one, you know, for example, a finance broker, and expect that person to refer a lot of business straight away. But sometimes it will take a few coffees, you know, sometimes lunch, and then you build that relationship. Sometimes go to a personal relationship, friendship, then you get the business from that person.
Absolutely. And would that be one of your main strategies then when it comes to growing the rent roll, is your referral partnerships?
Yes. Most of my business come from referrals, word of mouth. I think I would say probably 80% coming from referrals and networking. Yeah.
That's fantastic. So who is your ideal client?
My ideal clients would be clients who place their trust in me, who have you know, client that has confidence with my, you know, with my expertise, with my judgment. Their trust and their confidence in me really motivates me to do, you know, to do more, to do the best I can for them.
Yeah, I love that. And we, you know, chatted before, but you do work with a lot of international and overseas clients. So we'd love to know, how do you do this? Because sometimes when I work with business development managers, they find it challenging to even just meet with someone in the same suburb and state of their clients, but yet you're dealing with a lot of investors overseas and interstate. So how do you tackle this in your role as a BDM with communicating with these clients?
Okay, well, look, I guess it start with, I would say overseas, overseas, they 90% we're talking about Indonesian. I think that start because of my background, because I speak the language, and also because I was born there, I grew up there until I was teenager. I still have a lot of family and friends over there. That's how it started. And then I started my career in real estate back in Jakarta as well, back in 2008 for 2 years. I had a lot of I wouldn't say a lot, but I had quite a networks there, and also colleagues. Then when they know that I'm doing real estate in Perth, and if they're thinking about investing in here, then I would be the first person they contact. That's how it started. Then again, in addition to that, I'm quite involved in Indonesian community in Perth. In terms of like I'm quite involved in Indonesian chambers of commerce and Indonesian church community. That's how I built my relationship, and then from there, I built networks with Indonesian settlement agents, accountants, lawyers. Then from there, it just grow business. People like refer clients to me. That's that's how it started. All the networks and from referrals and networks. Yeah.
That's amazing. I think that what you just said then it's actually incredible, because there are a lot of people in the industry who are not getting involved in their communities. And what you essentially did is you found your niche. Like that's like your superpower. You've come from another country in Indonesia and Jakarta, and people know that you're helping investors, first of all, because you wouldn't get the referrals if they didn't know what you were doing. And then you've harnessed your network and built that up in Perth, which is fantastic. And you've really focused on building your presence in that community. So I think let that be a lesson for anyone watching today. I know that there's a big emphasis on social media, but we're talking about what you're doing is in person and being involved in particular groups. I love that. And how do you then combat, because they're not in the same state, a lot of your appointments like via Zoom that you do with your clients?
Yeah, I use a lot of WhatsApp. A lot of Indonesian use WhatsApp, and Singaporean and Malaysian. So they all use WhatsApp. Then yes, that's and Zoom. Normally I send my proposal by email and then like Zoom meeting, and then but most of the time after that just WhatsApp group. Yeah. But again, with WhatsApp, meaning like sometimes they will contact you 9 p.m. or 6 a.m. because of the time as well. Then they expect you to actually respond pretty quick.
So how do you then, do you have to set boundaries around that, or do you find that you've adjusted your working hours somewhat to accommodate to your international clients?
I try to accommodate, especially if I know the time difference. I try to accommodate, unless that I am away and I'm really on holiday with my family. Then I have like a quick response saying like, "Hey, sorry, I'm actually on holiday. Can I get back to you in a few days? Or if it's something urgent, you can, this is the person that can help, my assistant or my colleague."
Yeah, for sure. So as a elite performer and top performing business development manager, I would say, high performer, what are the skills that you've acquired that you think have contributed the most to your success?
I think interpersonal skill. That's the main thing. Being connected and build your network, and always, just, having a genuine relationship with people. That's, I think, the main thing, and and problems. I think the second probably problem solving, like you give solution to your clients. I think those two are the main skill.
And do you think, have you always been someone who has thrived on those personal relationships, or has that been built over time?
I think built over time. Well, I'm quite, I wouldn't say, I'm actually an introvert person. I can be in the socially and in a big group. I can be a bit reserved. I can be like, oh, I don't know what to do, But I was always pretty good with one-on-one. I feel comfortable talking to people, and it's just easy for me to connect with one-on-one. I was always like that, but again, through years that, grow.
Yeah, grow. And I think that's an important reminder as well. As individuals and as humans, we have the capacity to grow. And I think the real
Yeah.
estate industry and being a business development manager is a great opportunity for people to expand their skills, because we're forever learning. And I love what you mentioned about solutions, because I have this analogy that I view where solutionists every day, essentially our landlords are coming to us to help them because they don't have the capacity to do it themselves, or they don't have the knowledge to do it itself. And there's two parts to what you said. It's okay, we need to have the knowledge, but we also need to be able to connect with people on that personal level, because if we didn't have the skills to do that, they wouldn't trust us.
Correct. Yes. Yeah. Correct. Yeah. Yeah. Look, there are two types of clients that come to me. One is the one that already have investment property in Perth, so they already know, or they are permanent resident, or they live in Melbourne or Sydney or even in Perth. Then they already know, roughly they know how to do, how to invest in Perth. But the second type are investors that really know nothing about investing in Perth. They basically, the question they ask, like, can I actually buy properties in Australia? Then I have to, yes, you can. But what kind of properties they can buy? Then I said, okay, you can buy, brand new, or, you can't buy secondhand. And what are the tax? Those are the questions that really, they ask me. And then I feel, then I have to give that question. And then they ask, like, how about the taxation? Do they have to pay tax? Do they have to pay income tax? And how to buy that? Like, what kind of settlement agent? Those are questions that they want to know. They basically really rely on me. Like, okay, I have to provide those kind of information to them, for those that are really know nothing about investing in Australia.
Yeah, that's some great points. And your knowledge then and skill set as a business development manager, I would say, is far more extensive than typically what a lot of agents do deal with, because you are dealing with people who live overseas, and there's certain things that they need to consider. So you've had to educate yourself on how you can best assist them. And I'm sure that you work, with your referral partners as well, when it comes to the tax implications, how they set things up, because it would look completely different for someone who lives in Perth and owns an investment property in Perth, then is overseas and owns an investment property in Perth. So that's phenomenal that you provide that level of service and you have that knowledge to have those conversations, because I feel that there is still a gap in the market and in the industry of just property managers and business development managers in general not having the awareness of what it actually takes to firstly own an investment property. That's one thing, right? Like, it's not easy to own an investment property. And then everything else that comes with that, like looking at the income and expenses of your investment property every year, and seeing if it is, creating wealth and helping people create wealth. So I think that is just phenomenal that you are having those conversations with your clients. And it's no wonder then that you are an elite agent and top performing BDM, because of how extensive your knowledge goes with your international clients.
Thank you.
That's okay. So what would be your advice for people who are wanting to, be with a business for as long as you have and get the results that you've had? What would be like your biggest advice that you could give to someone?
I guess the biggest advice of always focus on building, the genuine relationship, like, with your colleagues and also with your clients, definitely referral partners, your networks, people in industry. When you have that genuine, relationship, the business always come. Again, my business, 80% come from referrals. So that's how, how I grow my business. Always being genuine.
Sure. And I know a lot of listeners will probably be like, well, how do you do it? So what is your method of when you are, because now I'm just having an assumption here, but now I would assume a lot of people come to you and they want to work with you because your results that you're getting in your marketplace. But
Yeah.
going back and when you started building up your referral partners, what was your strategy? Like, were you calling them? Were you emailing them? Were you dropping into their businesses? What did you do to help you build that up?
I normally start with call.
Yeah.
Even until now, if I see like, oh, there's a new finance broker that, you know, in Indonesian chambers of commerce, all right, then I just pick up my call. So, hey, my name is Ervina. I work as this. Would you like to have coffee with me? That's I normally start with. And then, okay, sure, then let's have coffee. Then from there, then you build your personal relationship. Sometimes not only business, but being open. Oh, okay, this is what I do. How about you? And become friends. Then go to then business always follow after that. Yeah. But always start with, you know, call, coffee, and then go from there. Yeah.
I love that. And that was a very similar approach to what I had. It was the intention was just to meet with them and just to have a chat and get to know them as a person, because that's what they are. They're human beings, and then see if there was opportunities to collaborate or to even work with each other. Because also some people that I met, we established that it wasn't going to be the right fit for either party. And that's okay too, right? We're not
correct
business with everyone. So thank you for sharing that tip. And I love that you said that you get on the phone and call people rather than just, you know, rely on the social media or DMing people, because sometimes that gets lost too. Like not everyone their messages every day. So I think that that's a great tip for anyone who's aspiring to really build up their referral partnerships. Pick up the phone, team, and, you know, have some conversations and meet people in person. I am really big on the balance of life. So, you know, work and life. And it wasn't always like that as a business development manager. And because you do have a family and you do deal with international investors, how do you stay grounded and how do you avoid being burnt out as a high performing business development manager?
For me, I always start my day with a prayer, and I always end my day with a prayer. That really make me feel more grateful with life, and count my blessing. That's first. And second, always take, you know, one day at least off during weekend. That's really, you know, focus with my family and spend time with friends as well. I love having lunch with girlfriends. I love having, you know, dinner with, you know, a group of friends, or invite people to come to my house to host, you know, event like that. That makes me feel, you know, energized, then ready for, you know, work again and on, you know, on the next week. Yeah.
I love that. Start your day and end your day with a prayer and focus on what you're grateful for, and have one day off to be with your family. I love that. It's such great advice. I love how humble you are. I really have enjoyed, I can sense the genuineness of you, and that just shines. And so it's no wonder you're getting the results that you are getting. What is there anything else that you would encourage business development managers to do to have a fulfilling career as a business development manager like you have?
So I mentioned just now about like focus on always having a like genuine relationship, but it's not only that. The other thing that always you know, continuous learning, that's another thing. Always make yourself up to date with legislation, with, you know, marketing strategy, and, you know, for example, like now that we use artificial intelligence or social media, make yourself learning new things and up to date with that. And also surround yourself, work with the right people that always challenge you, that always support you to do better and to grow. I think that's the main things for me. Yeah,
that's amazing, and what a high to end it. And I hope that we can meet in person one day. I would love to be able to sit down and have a coffee with you and just embrace your energy. But I just want to say thank you so much for joining me today. And for anyone watching, please make sure you connect and follow, because this woman here is absolutely phenomenal. And she, like I said, so humble in all that she's achieved, and she'll be happily have a chat with you. So thank you for joining me today and sharing your wisdom and all of the wonderful things that you have done that has led to your success today.
Thank you, Sarah. Thanks for having me.
It's been an absolute pleasure. And as always, team, keep rising.